Hello and welcome to EGW Writing's Tech Tips. I am your host, Darryl Thompson. Thank you for joining us today in another of our series on learning how to use the new EGW Writings 2 app for Android. Now, the EGW Writings 2 app for Android is one of my most favorite apps. Well, I guess I should clarify that. It is the most favorite app that I have on my device. You see, I use an Android phone as my daily device, and I carry it wherever I go. I use it from when I wake up to I go to sleep. Why, you say? Well, when I wake up, I check my thoughts for the day in my daily devotional, and when I go to sleep, I love using it to post quotes onto my social media accounts, the EGW Writing social media accounts that many thousands of you read every day. And during the day, I love to use it for referencing, searching, and finding the different materials that I do in my daily work at the L&G White estate. I'm going to give you now a little brief overview of the benefits and the joys of using the EGW Writings 2 app for Android in your daily life. So in front of me here, I have the home screen of my Android phone, and I'm going to tap on the EGW Writings 2 blue icon to open it up. Now, once I open up the app, you can see that it lists all the different collections that we have in the app. You have My Library, All Collections, History, Study Center, Subscriptions, Audiobooks, Listening History, and About Ellen White. And then across the top here, you can see two little icons. You can see the search icon and then the sandwich icon. Now, I'm going to first of all, in setting up the app, look at the side menu, and then we'll come back and look at the main things. In the top right-hand corner, we have the little sandwich icon there that when you tap, opens up the side menu. And the first thing I'd like to ask people to do is to tap on here, and it will say, you can see where I say, "Hello, Darryl Thompson." I'm already signed into EGW Cloud, and I would suggest very strongly that you create and sign in to an account right here. Sign up for an EGW Cloud account, because if you ever lose the device or something happens and the app gets accidentally deleted or corrupted, if you are using the app and everything is backed up in the cloud, all your notes, bookmarks, highlights into your study center, your reading history, your listening history, your download history, your subscriptions, all of that is backed up in the cloud. And you can simply sign back in on another device and it's all back again, and you can continue on. If you do not create an EGW Cloud account, and God forbid that you lose your device or the app gets deleted or corrupted, then you've lost everything. But if you sign up for EGW Cloud, whenever you're online, everything is backed up and safe. And you can actually create backups for offline yourself within the device, or into like OneDrive or Google Drive or whatever type of drive that you wish to back up your content to. Now, the other thing in here is settings, and you will see down here that you've got different settings that you can set. You've got different themes, color background themes, that you can set and you can choose. You may want to keep it in day mode or dark mode. They're the two most common modes, but you have dawn and dusk as well. You can set your default Bible, your default font. You can show the little audio overlay in the bottom corner. You can set your different bookshelf layouts. In this tutorial, I'm not going to show you how to do that, but you can set to see either book codes, or you can set them to see book covers. And you can see book lists, or you can see thumbnail views. And you can do that by just sliding up and down here. You can sort of see on the side how that's happening. And then you can always go back and tap default, and it sets it back to the default setting. Then My Library is useful for going through a book much like Kindle Books or Google Books is, and reading through your books. And you can sort the categories by recent, or you can sort them by alphabetical listing. I like to have it the default recent so that the last book you're reading shows at the top. And you can turn on last book read or hide a new language. Now in the reader, you see again the font, because you can actually change the font style for the menus, and you can have a different font and size for the reader. And the default Google font is Roboto that we use, the same on our egwritings.org website. And you can change your font. We are using here a serif font. You may sans serif font. You may want to use a serif font. And you can change that within the app. You can also change the size of the reader text by sliding it up and down here. Then you can have the copy ref codes. When you're selecting text and copying it, you can choose to add the ref codes to the copy. You can disable the chapter cover, which we'll show you in a minute. And there's many other settings there in the reader you can adjust. Also, you can adjust to search online or offline if you've downloaded the books. And then you can put the app into airplane mode or enable or disable analytics. All these things are all listed there. You can use in Wi-Fi mode only, so you save your data. For example, if you're paying for every megabyte of data. And then down the bottom here where you can contact us. So that's the side menu. Back on the main menu here, like I said, in My Library, it's going to open up to the last exact location that I was reading. If I actually close out the app and come back the next day and run the app and then go into My Library, it'll return to that exactly same location again. So if you want to use My Library, I wouldn't use it for browsing. I would use My Library only for reading a book daily. Then you have all collections. This is what I use for browsing. And as you can see how we've divided up into this all the collections. Now we have 4 major collections, and the collection number 1 is EGW writings, and it runs all the way down here to modern English. So from here to here, that is Ellen White's writings. In the second part, you have, that I'd accidentally tapped on there, or the third is Bible, but reference lists all the different reference works that we have here. And then you have Bible, which lists versions, concordances, dictionaries, commentaries, and then Scripture Index. And then you have Adventist Pioneer Library. Now, in this top section, as I said, this lists all 120 books that we have available. And then we have devotionals. And we have 21 devotional books. And I love the devotional books. And currently, I'm reading through Our High Calling right now. And then you come down and you go to periodicals, and these are all of the magazines that she wrote in, the Adventist magazines, her articles. It's not the whole periodical, it's just the article that she wrote in them. And then we have the manuscript releases, but I advise, like, the manuscript releases is sort of the best parts of all the 50,000 pages of the letter and manuscripts. And in the letters and manuscripts, this is all of her bound volumes. If you go into here, and you can see we have bound in the different years from 1844, all the corpus of her letters and manuscripts to 1915. Now, a lot of her books that she wrote in her lifetime, they're not all contained in these writings, but all the compilations, the materials that the White Estate has put together, has been sorted mostly from these letters and manuscripts, and then also some of the books in her lifetimes. But there are 50,000 letters and manuscripts spanning her 70 years of ministry within there. Then we have the biography books, and we have the Arthur White 6-volume biographies, plus we have the Woman of Vision, which is a compilation of all 6, and then it's condensed into 1 volume. And then we have her own personal life sketches, manuscript that her and her husband put together on her life and ministry. And then we have the I just tapped on the biography. I meant to tap on modern English. So, if you have young people or youth in which you want to read a short condensed version, let's say of like Beginning of the End, which is Patriarchs and Prophets, or Desire of Angels, Humble Hero, or Steps to Jesus, which is Steps to Christ, it puts it into modern English for the younger generation to be able to clearly understand if they're not able to comprehend the 19th century English. And then I went through the other collections. So that's basically on the menu. As you can see, when you tap on them, you get to be able to navigate here. If you want to jump down to, say, the Patriarchs and Prophets, you can tap on the little letter at the side, the quick menu, takes you down to the P, then you can tap on Patriarchs and Prophets. Now this brings you into the next section, which is navigation. And you can see when you open up the book, it takes you directly to the list of the chapters. And then you just tap on the chapter and it opens in there. Like I said in the settings on the side menu, you can turn off the chapter covers if you wish, so that it sort of starts and opens up here. But I like to have this at the top of the menu because it sort of helps me know what book and that I'm in. So if I navigate through the chapters, then it shows, oh, I'm in Patriarchs and Prophets. Now, when you're navigating through to the chapter and you get to the end of the chapter here, let me quickly scroll to the bottom. That might make you dizzy. Whoa, this is a long chapter. Wow. Okay, so we get to the bottom of this chapter and you say, oh, I can't go to the next chapter. Well, you just navigate. Don't come from the edge swipe. Don't come in from the edge of the screen if you want to navigate to the next chapter, because we'll open the side menu. Pick your finger up from just inside the edge and then just swipe. And if you want to go back, don't edge swipe back because you might jump into another section. So I start with my finger just inside the screen, just inside the edge of the screen, because if you do too close to the edge, it brings up the side menu. But if you come in a little bit further, it will switch from chapter to chapter. So that's how you navigate chapter to chapter. If you come in from the edge, it's an edge swipe to the menu. Okay? So that's that. Now, once you're in the book, you can always tap in the top. It brings up the table of contents, and then you can select from there. You can also just tap in the header. You can tap the play. It will play the audiobook, and away it will go. And if you want to pause, you can long click on the pause and it will pop up so you can jump back and forward and navigate next and previous chapter and see all the information listed right there. You just tap outside and closes. If you want to get rid of the little popover, you can get rid of it in the side settings. Okay, little click the X, and it's closed. Now within the reader, once I'm navigating up, you can see that when I navigate back up, it goes to full screen, back down, and it brings up the navigation and header and footer. It also does that by just tapping the screen. Okay. All right, so that's basically navigating through the reader. If you want to go through the home screen, a little shortcut is tap the side menu, and then you can, in the same place, tap that. Okay, so I'll just show you that again. If I'm in the book, coming through history, I can just go tap, tap, and I'm back to the home screen. So we built that little shortcut in from the side. Of course, you can navigate back out through the book. So if I'm in here, you can backtrack back in that way, or you can just double tap in the side menu and navigating in. Now, we went through all collections. History, as I just showed you, it just goes through my app history, and I can jump back in to any book and pick up where I left off in the history. But if I'm reading through the book, make sure, as I said before, that you use My Library to come in and read the book. If you want to track in and see your reading history, you track back, and this is my reading history, and it tells me how long ago that I read, what page that I'm on within the book. It lists. So like in this, I'm in page 14.3. In Prophets and Kings, I'm in page 25.2. And I tap there, and it brings me back into that. That's my reading history. And if you want to go searching around, I don't advise that you search within My Library, because then it will mess up your reading history. I just say come back from the main menu, it's contextual, and then go searching from there. Now, if I want to search for a word, no problems. Say I want to search for faith. I come up here and I click faith, and I go and I search. If I want to go and search for the word David in Prophets and Kings, I can type PK and David, and then straight away it's finding the word David only within Prophets and Kings. Now, how do I know that? That's because if I tap on the little question mark there, when I'm in search, it lists out all of the search help tutorial for me. Okay. Now, in the bottom underneath search, you've got three filters. You've got your collection filter, and you can search either within your history or within EGW collections, all collections, lifetime works, compilations, or My Library. And if I go into lifetime works, it's going to filter if I type in just the word. So say I type in faith and I do lifetime works, it's only going to be searching in there. But you can say, well, this is just a big long chronological list of books. What if I want it to be more Google-like? Well, this is where the next filter over here comes in, the sort filter, the up and down arrows. And if I tap that, you can see that I can choose weighted relevancy. Weighted, it's weighted to Ellen White first, and then it will be giving you all the best quotes that you can find and it jumps around the different books, just like Google does. It brings you relevancy based. If you want to search across all the collections, then you can say, I want to look in relevancy, and I can come up here and tap this filter, and I can choose to add, Bible or reference, or maybe I want to search just within reference. And I can come in that filter, and this one, the little filter cone, selects in specifics. I can expand it here, and I can add just in devotionals and uncheck reference and then hit apply. And it's now just searching within the devotional collection. So this is the little filter cone there. So they're the 3 different filters that you can add to search. Now, if you want to search offline, that's the little tiny globe there. And you would now search offline. Okay? So that's search. Now in the app, we have Study Center. And the Study Center, I like to list everything through within topical folders. So if I come in here and in Patriarchs and Prophets, you can see I have a note, I have highlights, and then I have a bookmark. I can order these around, so I could bring the bookmark by typing on the icon there and dragging it up. Not in the element side. You just long click on the little icon, the bookmark icon, and then drag it up. But how do you create these elements? Well, let's just jump into the reader here, and then say, for example, I want to select some text. I just long click on the word, drag my finger down the screen to highlight it, tap on the little tiny highlight icon there, choose my folder that I want to put it in, and I've already created the collection Patriarchs and Prophets, so I've got that, and I can create new folders by clicking on the plus. And I can use the default colors here, or I can create a custom color. And you'll have to watch the tutorial on how to do that. But I'm just going to select the default color, and then I'm going to hit the little magnifying glass, and then the little check mark. And then if I come up here and I want to do my next selection, I can do that. And this time I don't have to go back and do the whole process, really. What I can actually do is I can select the text that I want to highlight, and then I tap the little previous history icon, and it will put this note over in that area. Now if I made a mistake and I go, oh, I didn't want that whole selection, no problems. When you tap on the highlighted area, it brings you back into the highlight screen, and in the bottom right hand corner you see a little trash can. You can tap the trash can and the highlight's gone. So you see that again, highlight the text, I add it, and if I go, whoops, I don't want that, you can just tap it again, tap delete, and it's gone. Now, you can see that it's all been added into the correct selection by when I come across into my Study Center. I'll open up my Study Center here, and you can see how it's been adding these new pages and selections down here. If I want to delete them, I can delete them either from there, or I can delete them from here by just swiping in and tapping delete, or I can edit and I can actually move. So I can tap this out and I could move it to another folder, and then it's moved. So if I swipe up here and go into here, you can see that it's moved to another folder in my Study Center. So that's just a real rough click basics. Now when you select a text, we saw that it had a little toolbar that popped up. You'll have to watch the full Study Center tutorial to learn all the different parts of this. Basically, this is note, highlight, bookmark, share, copy, search, play. And the great thing I love about search, say you see a phrase here that you want. So say you see entitled to reverence and honor. So maybe I just select this, highlight that, tap the search. It's going to search within the book to see if there's any other time that it uses that, or I can come back here and I can go EGW collections, okay, and it didn't find anything there. But if I come up here and edit my quote and then click search again, reverence and honor, you can see that there are 14 times in Ellen G. White's writings that she uses reference and honor. So you've got that ability in select. Now if I want to do a lot of selection, there are 3 different selection methods within the reader. You can double tap, it'll tap the single word, and then you can bring up. Now if you say this toolbox is in the way, you can actually See how you can move it down, the text selection is still there, and the toolbox will stay out of the way if it's ever in the way of your text selection. You can actually move it in the background with it staying selected. Now the other thing you can do is you say, well, I really wanted to get to the end of the paragraph. No problem, because this is how you select multiple selections at once. Just do a long click on him, and it will now select the full paragraph. If you want to deselect, just tap outside. Maybe I want to select multiple paragraphs. I do a long click there, and then I come down here, do a long click there, and there's multiple paragraphs. Say, ooh, I really wanted the paragraph above. No problem. Just come up there and select it as well. And then you just hit copy, and you can go and put it out into a Word or document, or you can share it, or you can print it, or whatever you want. So that's text selection within the reader. Okay, so we'll come back over here. The last thing I want to show you, the last two things I want to show you is subscriptions. You'll have to watch the tutorial. If I'm actually subscribed in here, and I went, I guess, in subscriptions, and there we go. And I can see my thought for the day, or I can come in here and read through my life today, and here's my, my subscriptions that have been delivered, and that's how I would read them. I sign up for them over in this little gear icon here. You can come up in here and you can sign up for Bible reading plans, book reading plans, quotes, news, and devotionals. Then we have audiobooks. And audiobooks, we have lots of audiobooks, as I mentioned. We have 235 in English here. We have 13 languages in total, and we're growing those languages all the time. And if I want to listen to, say, Desire of Ages, I tap on Desire of Ages, I tap on the chapter I want to listen to, and then it starts to play. And you can see down here how many seconds that I've played it and how long the total chapter is at the end there. If I want to skip through, I can jump through in 10-second jumps, or I can come back. This audiobook is all linked up. It will work on a Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth audio in your car. It will pause the audio if a phone call and that comes in. But let's say that I'm listening through the audiobook and I want to actually be stopping and coming back at another day because maybe I was getting ready in the morning, or maybe I was driving to work and I've now arrived. Just stop it and then just close it out and you're good to go. So maybe you've closed the app. Now you come back into the app another day, and this is the second most useful thing, and that is listening history. You tap in there. It says, see how I was 14 minutes and 58 seconds into that chapter? I tap there and it will pick up exactly where I left off by using listening history. Now, in here, if let's say, for example, I jump into the next chapter, so let me tap on chapter 2, and I want to listen and read along. So all I do is tap on chapter 2 a second time, and then it will read along with you, and you can go and just slowly scroll up as the book is read to you. And then you can pause it, of course, and if you want to get rid of this little overlay here, you just tap and it's gone. Okay, so that is audiobooks, and that is the brief overview of EGW writings. Brief, you might say? Well, there's so many features, there's so many different things that you can use the EGW Writings 2 app for, and I suggest that you watch our upcoming tutorials that goes through and explains all the things that I just showed you in greater depth and detail. I love this app. I use it daily for my own personal study and my own personal spiritual enrichment, and I know that as you use the EGW Writings 2 app yourself, it can bring you the same spiritual enlightenment and blessings as it does for me. Remember, when you read the writings of Ellen G. White, don't read them without spending time with prayer first, because then God can open to you the words of meaning that are contained, that he gave his messenger Ellen G. White many years ago. Thank you for joining us now. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm Darrell Thompson. Bye for now.